Welcome back. More now on that breaking news. The House just passing a short-term funding bill to avoid a government shutdown. And joining us now is Senator Jeanne Shaheen of New Hampshire. She's the ranking member on the Foreign Relations Committee. Senator, thanks for joining us. This funding bill is headed your way to the Senate. House Speaker Johnson calls it a clean bill. Do you support it?
Well, we're going to have two votes this morning in the Senate. One is the CR that's coming over from the House. The other, which is the bill that I support, would keep the government open, but it would also address the health care needs of the people of this country. It would extend those premium tax credits that are so critical to ensuring that people can afford health insurance. And at a time when costs are going up on everything from food to electricity, it's important that we ensure that people can afford their health insurance. So I hope we can, if neither of these bills pass, that we can come together, because it's in everyone's interest to keep the government open and to ensure that people can stay on their health insurance.
Realistically, though, we know Democrats and Republicans haven't been compromising. Are you willing to let the government shut down if you can't compromise?
Well, I don't think we're there yet. Hopefully, if we are not able to pass something today, saner heads will prevail, and we'll sit down and discuss how we get both of those things done. You know, I hear from my constituents in New Hampshire that what they want us to do in Washington is to work together. I think it's not helpful when President Trump says to the Republican majorities in the House and Senate, you shouldn't talk to Democrats. That's not how we address the problems that are facing this country. We need to work together. We need to sit down at the table. We need to negotiate. If we don't pass something today, we have several weeks before the government shuts down in order to come to an agreement to ensure that we both keep the government open and make sure that people can access their health care.
The end of the month will be here before we know it, especially with the Jewish holiday and the break that I know you all have next week. I want to turn now to the issue of free speech in America. The president suggesting the FCC could revoke licenses of TV broadcasters that give him bad publicity. Senator, do you think free speech is in danger in America?
I do. I'm very distressed. The kind of language that we've heard from the president and the actions that are being taken by the government right now are the kind of actions that we see from countries like Russia and China, like Hungary. You know, one of the basic tenets of the American Constitution is the freedom of expression, the right for people to say things even when we don't like them. And it's important for us to ensure that that freedom continues. And it's very distressing to see that the president is talking about using the levers of government to shut down free speech and free expression. And he's doing it by using potential mergers and business deals on the part of media companies to threaten them that if they don't take certain people off the air, Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, that those business transactions are not going to go forward. I would hope that our Republican colleagues would stand up to this president on this issue, because it's a foundational element of a democracy to ensure that there is freedom of expression.
Well, so far, Republicans, for the most part, have been praising the Kimmel decision and sidestepping questions about free speech. Let's listen to what some of them are saying.
Yeah, people are getting fired. Free speech doesn't mean you don't have consequences for your speech. Like, free speech means the government shouldn't fully step in and say, hey, you can't do this, right? But, and again, licensing is a different question.
Do you think comments from the FCC have in any way chilled freedom of speech? The decision to take Jimmy Kimmel off air?
I think Jimmy Kimmel was taken off air because he's a unfunny activist.
Do I think it's good that Disney yanked a show? Yeah, I do, actually. That was their choice.
But using the power of the government to regulate speech. I mean, you guys were concerned about Biden doing some things like this, but this is even further.
Well, wait, this isn't the government model. This is Disney.
Senator, are you hearing anything different behind closed doors? It wasn't that long ago. Many of them were decrying so-called cancel culture.
You know, it's really concerning that the same people who were arguing in a Democratic administration about concerns for free speech are now arguing that you can shut down the free speech under this administration because we're part of this administration. That is not how democracy is supposed to work. That's how dictatorships work. That's how China works. That's how Russia works. I don't think anybody wants America to follow in those footsteps. And when the president uses the levers of government to threaten people who are criticizing or who they disagree with, then that is violating the Constitution.
Senator, let's turn to foreign policy. As we mentioned, you're the ranking member on the Foreign Relations Committee, and the president was asked about Russia's war on Ukraine yesterday. Watch.
I get 97% negative, and yet I won easily. I won all 7 swing states, popular, won everything. And if they're 97% against, they give me...
Okay, obviously that was the wrong soundbite there. That was a clip of him talking about this whole FCC situation. Let me read the verbatim of what the president was asked in his response. He was asked, Mr. President, it's been a month since your meeting with President Putin. Is it time for a ceasefire call? And his response was, is it a month? It doesn't feel like it. But at the right time, if I have to do it, it'll be harsh. What do you make of that?
Well, it's just another red line that the president is drawing in the sand and allowing Vladimir Putin to cross. The fact is, if the president thinks his relationship with Putin is going to end the war in Ukraine, he's delusional. What we need is to put pressure on Putin and the Russians, because that's the only thing he understands. We need to work with our allies. We need to provide the equipment and the arms and the support that the Ukrainian government needs. They're the ones who are out there fighting and dying. And since the president created his first red line, there have been thousands of Ukrainians killed and thousands of Russians, for that matter. And if the president is really worried about people dying, then he needs to take action. And it is way overdue for him to do that.
Senator Jeanne Shaheen, thank you very much for being with us this
Thank you.
morning.